What's going on, everyone? We have to go over Bitcoin. As you guys can see, Bitcoin is at 62.8K right now. It has been going down this whole time. And now we are kind of going up here with Bitcoin. So I'm going to talk about where Bitcoin is probably about to go next. And anyways, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but let's get straight to it. So as we all know, Bitcoin went down really low. You know, we had this dump. We went all the way down to 59K. And now we're kind of having like a recovery, or as it seems, but the real thing here is that what we're building is a bear flag. So we're just building a bear flag, getting ready for the next dump. That's literally all this is. This is just a preparation for the next dump inside of Bitcoin. So I would be very, very careful with trying to get in here because, some people are looking, they're like, oh, Bitcoin's up 1.8%. It's going to start going back up. It's going to eat up this whole 14% in the last 2 weeks. Or this 22% in the last 30 days. I don't think it's just going to recover just like that out of nowhere, out of the blue. It's going to take some time for Bitcoin to actually recover. Now, it is at the 50-day, and it broke past the 50-day briefly here, and it's still above it a little bit, but it could easily break down below the 50-day moving average and then go down below this little bear flag that we have. Now, since this is a bear flag, it would make sense that we come up to the top of the bear flag, right? That would be around 65 to 66K. So if Bitcoin reaches 66K out of nowhere, just know that we're going through a bear flag. So it could get to the top of the bear flag here. It could do that. It could either get to the top of the bear flag and then dump, or it could just dump right here. But something's telling me that it's probably going to get to the top of that bear flag and then dump. And this is going to look like a lot of people getting trapped, right? There's going to be a lot of bull traps happening left and right. This is another bull trap. So you're going to see it probably getting to the top of that. So we'll see what happens after that. Now, the PPI info comes in today. Yesterday, we had the other info for the, I think it was the CPI. But anyways, we had the inflation reports yesterday, and it wasn't too bad. It came in as expected. So let's see what the PPI is doing as well. And then we also have the Fed meeting, I think is on like the 16th or the 17th of this month. Something like that. So then we're going to have that. So we'll see how that plays out for us as well. But as for the pricing of Bitcoin right now, it's just going through a small little phase right here. We just have to wait to see what's going to happen here to see if we're going to get some type of divergence, some type of bullish divergence, push down for some lower lows on the charts. So we'll see if we do that. But it's just going to take some time because as you can see here, we had one of those little red candlesticks here. So I thought that we're going to have more selling pressure right here, but instead they're going to do the trap. So I thought we're going to have some type of bullish divergence where we got a lower low, but instead they're presenting us this trap right here, which is again going to look like us going to the top of this bear flag. So we'll wait and see what we have right there and what happens. So on top of that, we have the percent R trend exhaustion for the 4-hour chart. We have the short-term trend breaking past the long-term trend. We always get a pullback when that happens. I was trading in the stock market yesterday, and that happened literally the whole entire day. That was the case in the stock market yesterday, and just printing and printing and printing and printing, right? And you can see it easily on the 1-minute chart. And it just kept pulling back because that's what happens when you have the long-term or the short-term trend breaking past the long-term trend, right? It just kept pulling back. So I'm just like, okay, this is just easy money. We just keep letting it push out and then short it, let it push out and short it because the long-term trend is not following any of these. The long-term trend didn't follow any of them. So I was just like, let it push out, do some puts, let it push out, do some puts. And literally the whole time it went down the whole time. So that's what happens when you see that on the percent R trend exhaustion. This is just some real-time viewing the stock market here, just showing you kind of how it works. But yeah, it's literally the same exact thing that's going on inside of Bitcoin. When you look at Bitcoin on the bigger perspective from the 4-hour chart, like it's the same exact thing. We're seeing the short-term trend breaking past the long-term trend on the percent R trend exhaustion. And every single time it happens, we just pull lower and lower and lower. And if we do it again right here, then that's going to be another lower low that we're going to see, right? Because that whole time that was happening, we were dumping because that's what's happened. That's what happens when you see that. So pretty much what we got to wait for is let's see if this percent R trend exhaustion does some type of pullback right here on the short-term trend, because it does look like the long-term trend's flattened out right here. So that's good. That means that we're going to get another pullback. Well, it's good for the bears, and I'm a bear right now, so good for me. So anyways, moving on from this, let's go hit the daily chart. we have the daily chart here on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And as you can see, we still have the bear flag here. And as you all know, still bear flags are still bearish. They didn't turn bullish overnight. Now, if we come up here to the top of this bear flag, again, that would be pushing up to like 66K and then a dump. I think that's probably what's going to happen, because as you can see here, when you look at the percent R training option, it does look like it's going to push up right here, right? It does look like it's about to push up. So we might see a little bit of a push up on that daily chart. And I think it's going to happen here. And then I think we're just going to be followed by some more selling pressure, right? I think the buying pressure is not going to be great enough to really set anything off. And I think what it's going to end up doing is selling off again. And when we're just creating divergence right there. So I think something like that is going to end up happening. And then we'll eventually have a breakout from there. Well, look, this is the daily chart. So if we do get some divergence, that's bullish divergence. That's lower lows on the charts and higher lows on the MACD. This would be a new higher low. So if we do start the breakout now, which it looks like is going to happen, we should get to about 65, 66K. And then after that, we should have a dump that pulls us even lower going into July. Going into July, we should see a nice dump that pulls us down below 60K. So yeah, we might not be below 60K until July. So that's pretty much what that means. So we might see us grinding up towards 66K, or we might just see it all dumping out. Who knows? But I think, yes, we're going to hit 66K probably soon. And then we're going to grind our way down. And then eventually we're going to dump below 60K going into July. That's my prediction here for that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it really happens that way or if it happens a little bit sooner. And yeah, we'll also see if our bear flag extends itself. And what I mean by extends itself, like, we'll see if it's going to be a short or a long bear flag. Like, if it's a long one, we might be pushing up to 69K, right? If the bear flag is a long bear flag, we could see something like this happening where it's trying to push, it drops down, tries to push again, like how the last bear flag was. The last bear flag was huge. So if this happens again, we could see an extended bear flag where it tries to run out to 68K, 69K, right at that Fibonacci resistance. And then we could see that pull back to 50. So that's also a possibility too. But right now it's just the short bear flag scenario, short bear flag. Now on the weekly chart here, this is our most bearish chart because we have bullish divergence here. So with the bullish divergence, we're about to create another lower low here on our weekly. And then boom. And then we're going to start seeing the actual breakout of the bull market going into the end of this year towards October and the beginning of next year, right? Towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year is when we should see that actual breakout. And right now, we're just about to create another higher low, as you can see here. That's pretty much what we're doing here. Creating another higher low on the MACD and then another lower low on the chart. So this is creating that next higher low, and then we should create the next lower low. So still, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. We might just see it grinding in this area for a little bit, but eventually we're going to see 50K. We're going to see 50K eventually. So all you got to do is be patient. As for the percent R trend exhaustion for the weekly chart, we are coming into that oversold range here. You can see how it kind of curved upwards here. And then, like I mentioned before, when it intercepts, it typically pulls back, which is exactly what it did. I mean, watch all my Bitcoin videos from May. Watch all my Bitcoin videos from May and from March and from February. And I said the whole time, it's going to come up here, it's going to curve in this area, and then it's going to intercept and go back down. I literally said that inside of all of my videos, which is crazy, but I just know how the percent R trend exhaustion works. And that's exactly what happened the last cycle in 2022. So I said it's pretty much going to do exactly what it did in 2022. And that's pretty much what's happening. And if that's the case, then we should go down a little bit more, right? There should be another bottom. This last bottom, really, this is the last bottom, but we'll see how low this bottom gets. Some people are saying that we already hit the bottom, right? Some people are saying that 60K was the bottom. I don't know what you guys think about that, but let me know in the comments. But there are some people that think differently. So this person here, Hacks Kai, he says, Bitcoin update, not an ideal short location because price is already sitting on major support. And of course, not an ideal aggressive long either because momentum is still weak. So what's next? Play with levels. For bulls, wait for weekly close above 71.5. For bears, below 58K. That's what this guy's saying. But some people believe that we are already bottomed out in Bitcoin. And I just don't think that that's true. I don't think that we're bottomed out in Bitcoin. And I think that we have a little bit more to go, especially like when you look at the charts. Like, look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is telling a whole different story. The weekly chart is telling us that we are going to have more selling pressure, right? That's what the weekly chart is telling us. Now, is there a possibility for more buying pressure to come in right here? Yes, there is still that possibility, but typically it doesn't happen like that. It happened over here. It happened over here, but it doesn't happen like that every single time, right? Like this is like a one wave of buying pressure. This is like two waves, right? So it doesn't always happen that way. But usually when you have bullish divergence, it happens with one wave at a time, like that one there, and like this tiny one right here. So we had the divergence, and then we had that tiny buying pressure, and then we had even more selling. So we'll see what happens here for this one. Now, this person says Bitcoin 1 day chart consolidating below support is not very bullish. I would agree on that, but if this is a bear flag, we could see it pushing up a little bit more. So, yeah. And then it says trap more people first, 65/68K, and then the bottom end people are coming in and going to the moon or whatever. So yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna get trapped around 65, 68K this time around. Like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're going to 70K, and it's just gonna get rejected hard. This person says Bitcoin, good morning. We're beginning to form some kind of range on lower time frames. I expect Bitcoin to get squeezed more and more in the next few days until it finally breaks down and retests the lows. Yeah, that's what I say. I say and just give it a week, and then after that, I think we're gonna get a pullback inside of Bitcoin. Give it a week, and then by that week, we'll be towards the end of the month, and then we should start getting that pullback. But yeah, this is all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Check out the link in the description if you guys want to do some DeFi perps trading on AdvanceFi. It's on the Base network. And also check out Chart Prime for the best trading indicators out there. So shout out to you guys. And as always, I'll be back with another video.